In today's video, I'm going to show you how to replace the bottom seal on your garage door. So over time, your garage door seal starts to get over compressed and it no longer it doesn't mate very well with the floor. That will bring a lot of problems with it. It'll let bugs in, critters, mice and things, water, and so on. So it's important that you maintain your garage door seal. And today I'm going to be installing a new one, showing you how to do that, that has a lot more compression so that it'll make a real nice seal down at the bottom of your garage door. So the bottom of my garage door seal, this is the style that I have on my garage. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove those screws and then we're going to pull down on this and it's going to come off so that we can do the work we need to do to it before installing it and putting it back on along with a new seal. So the reason we're going to reuse this bottom piece is because you can see how ugly the garage door is behind it, and it would show that stain if we didn't put the same style back on. So here I'm going to be removing all the screws and then pulling that bottom piece off so that I can attach the new track and seal to that. Okay, so now that the screws are out, you just got to pull down and get this bottom seal taken off. So now that I have the bottom track piece taken off, I'm going to cut away the seal so I can get to the exposed T-track that's under it so that I can slide in the new garage door seal. This old part of the seal is not good anymore. I'm going to cut it off. Now that I cut away the old piece of the seal, you can see it there. We're going to throw that away and you can now see the exposed T-track. Now these T-tracks is what the new garage door seal that I purchased on Amazon, and I'll put a link down below. That is what will slide into those T-tracks. So you can see the T-shaped pieces on the end of this seal. Those will slide into that T-track and it'll slide all the way along the length. Now, it is a bit tricky sliding it in there, but you can eventually work it all the way through down to the end. Now you can see I started sliding the new seal into this track, and you can see that it has a lot more squishiness and it's going to make a real nice seal up against the floor. So that will provide a much better seal than that piece that you saw that I had cut off. You can see the piece that I had cut off and what it looks like and how it was not making a good seal even when it was brand new. I mean, it was a lot better than it is now. But this style seal that I have here that I purchased is going to provide a lot nicer seal than that old one ever did. So here I have the new seal slid onto that track all the way, and it fits on there real nice. And you can see that I left some excess. I can trim it to the exact length at the end. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't cut it too short and run into problems. So, and because it is going to stretch kind of as you're pulling it through, so I left a little bit extra so that so then I can just cut it to the exact length. Now with the new seal in place, you can see how much give there is, and I can't get over how much of a better seal this is going to be than what the other seal was. Now at the end of it, you stick in these little plugs in there, and I think that just gives it a little more firmness out at the ends to help seal up the ends a little bit better. I don't know if you could probably go without that and it really wouldn't impact things, but I went ahead and they give you those plugs, so I just put those plugs in the end. Now the other garage door that I'm doing, it didn't have the T-track on the bottom of that plastic molded piece. So I'm not going to be able to replace this the same way. What I'm going to have to do here is trim away the old seal with my knife like I did the other one. But I'm going to have to buy a T-track that goes on the bottom of this and screws in order to get that T-track that I needed to install the new seal. So here is the aluminum track that I purchased at Home Depot that has those T-tracks in it. So this is what I'm going to be attaching to the bottom of the black plastic seal piece that was on the bottom of the garage door. First though, I'm going to have to cut away the seal that was on there so that I can attach this aluminum panel to it. Unlike the other door, when I cut the seal away, it exposed a molded in T-track. But this one didn't have it. That's why we're having to attach the aluminum track to this. So I'm going to drill holes and I'm just going to screw this in to the bottom once I get the black piece installed back onto the door. Then I'll screw the aluminum track onto it and then run the seal into it. So now that I have the old seal cut away from the bottom of that black molded piece, I went ahead and installed it back onto the garage door because that needs to be installed on the bottom of the garage door before installing the aluminum T-track. And I'm just going to set it on the bottom there, and I'm going to screw it in with the screws that were provided with that track. Now you can see why I wanted to keep this bottom piece on there again, because behind it the garage door is dirty and ugly, and if I didn't go with this same style, which I was not able to find a full replacement of this part, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, it would look really bad. So that's why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. So the aluminum T-track came in multiple pieces, and I'm having to put 2 pieces of it on the bottom of the door. I think they're each 4.5 feet long. So I just drilled holes and spaced out the 5 screws and got the screws started into the holes. And then I'm going to set this on the bottom and screw those screws into place. Here you can see that I have that track now attached to the bottom. I screwed the screws in and it made a nice tight seal up against that molded plastic piece that's on the bottom of the door. And now I'll be able to slide the track into this. Now I'm able to slide the seal into that track, and it takes 2 people. One can kind of feed it in, the other one can kind of pull it. With one person, it'd be real hard to do. So I would suggest getting another person to help you pull it on one end while you're kind of pushing it in on the other, making sure it stays in that track. Okay, so this is what that seal now looks like in place. It's attached to that aluminum piece. Now the only thing that I don't particularly like is you can see that little strip of aluminum in between the black molded part and the new seal, whereas the other door isn't going to have that. I'm thinking on the outside of the door I may paint that with some black paint so it just doesn't look as obvious. But otherwise, this is basically how it looks once it's installed. Okay, now that we're done, let's go ahead and take a look and see if any light is showing under there. And I'm not seeing any light show underneath that seal, between that seal and the floor. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I had a pretty bad light gap under there. And I couldn't adjust the door to go down any further, because if I adjusted it to go down further, it would just hit solid and it would turn around in reverse. Like it's supposed to for safety reasons. But now with this squishy seal down at the bottom, I get a nice solid seal without the garage door wanting to reverse because it thinks it hit something. So I hope this video helped you. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.